Hey, welcome back to another Pokemon Showdown battle, everyone. And this is a Prodigal Legion against some other guy. And this is my first OU battle. And it is a good change of pace because I finally get to use some of my ultimate favorites and some new Pokemon that I've never used before because, well, I've never used them. We all know how much I love to use Ferthorn, Latios, Landorus, and Rotom, which are very standard core in my team, and I'm using two new Pokemon that I'd never used before, which is Mega Beedrill and Tapu Fini. And Tapu Fini, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see on the thumbnail, is something that I really love and I really appreciate because if I manage to set it up, because it has a weird moveset and it's cool and I love it, and oh my gosh, it's so amazing, and I want to show you guys what I've done. So 59 days till the army ends. And woot, 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 woot. We're into OU now, and I'm going to be studying this metagame even more. So, without further ado, let us get into the battle. So, before I get into the battle, I'm going to send out my Ferrothorn to set up my rocks. My opponent is going to do the same thing likewise, and we're just going to exchange rocks this turn. I set up first. My opponent sets up second, so I guess we want some kind of speed tie. I don't know. Anyway, so one of us had to switch out, and of course the guy that has a fire type switches out first. I don't have a preferred fire type. I kind of didn't want to use Heatran because I think that Heatran is kind of, OP. So the moment I switched out, I wanted to go into Landorus, and my opponent went into Heatran, and I double switched into Rotom because I was expecting to see the Landorus from my opponent's side, and that is what I was expecting. But my opponent goes into the Azumarill, which sucks bad. So I was like, should I Will-O-Wisp or should I go for the Volt Switch? I'm like, I want to get out of here and see how much damage that does. And it does very little, which indicates to me that this is an Assault Vest variant. So what better to deal with it than send out your Landorus and sack it off because you're such a loser? Well, that to me, ladies and gentlemen, Azumarill has access to knock off and knocks off my Choice Scarf, and he will Aqua Jet me to death. So Azumarill was always a problem in OU, but I know just how to deal with it. I kind of, sacked my my Landorus for no reason. So I'm just going to go Mega here. I know that my opponent is going to switch out, and I want to U-turn into anything that comes in, and that being the Heatran this turn. So going for a Mega Evolution U-turn can't really hurt that much, so as much as Stealth Rocks did, provided that it's a 4 times resisted move. Adaptability can be very powerful. So I'm going to send out Rotom, and anything that comes in now, because Heatran already has to switch out, will take a Will-O-Wisp to the face. And I'm hoping that it's that Ferrothorn, but unfortunately it's going to be Venusaur. And Venusaur is a problem because he is OU and he's bulky, and he is the answer to any Rotom in any OU game. And that is why he is OU, ladies and gentlemen, because Venusaur is OP. And he's amazing. I've used him in VGC battles before. So I decide to get the frick out of here with a Volt Switch, do some extra damage, and get out of here because Venusaur can be a problem. And I'm going to send out who else to deal with grass types, but Ferrothorn, just in case he wants to seed me, just in case he wants to put me to sleep, or he wants to go for the poison type move. He won't be doing a whole lot of damage. So I have the leftovers, and I want to switch it with Rocky Helmet because there are a lot of physical type attackers, and Rocky Helmet with Iron Barbs hurt a lot. So Azumarill comes in. I knew that he was going to switch out, and that is why I went for the Leech Seed that turn, and Azumarill cannot do squat to me. I resist both his stabs, and, well, he's going to go for the knockoff. He's going to knock off my leftovers, but he's going to get hit by the Iron Barbs, and he's going to get Leech Seeded, and I'm going to go for the Power Whip because, why did I go for the Leech Seed either way? So anyway, that was stupid of me, but Power Whip is a good move. So Azumarill, which is one of the main threats in the game for me, is out of the way, and in comes Heatran. So I'm going to have to switch out into my Tapu Rotom, because I thought that I was going to go into Tapu Fini, but apparently I can't even remember my own games. So yeah, go me. Fire Blast goes into the Rotom slot, and it's not going to do anything. And I think that Heatran must be choice something. I'm thinking he's scarfed because he's switching out really, really regularly too much. Anyway, so I'm going to go for the Hydro Pump. It misses. I thought that he might stay in, just to predict me to switch out. So I wanted him to over predict, and I wanted to go for a Hydro Pump maybe to take him out. And I go for the Will-O-Wisp, and a burned Ferrothorn is useless. A burned, useless Ferrothorn. That's, what it is. So I'm going to have to switch out my Rotom because I really need him around for that Chuckle and that Landorus, especially that Chuckle, because Chuckle can be a problem. I do not underestimate Chuckle. And ladies and gentlemen, here comes the Latios, the main star of my team. I'm saying main star because he has the ability to screw people around with the move that is known as Trick. And this turn is exactly what I do to Ferrothorn. Man, screwing people around with Trick is amazing. So my opponent gets Choice Scarf. He is locked into a move, and I get lefties, which is not that bad at all. So if I don't like lefties, I trick it back. No biggie there whatsoever. So locking a defensive Pokemon into a Scarf or something that they don't like is a good thing. So my opponent has to switch out, and Ferrothorn can take it here. So my opponent has the Landorus, and I'm thinking that this thing is banded or scarfed, and judging by that damage, even by critical hit standards, I'm thinking that he is banded. So I go for the Leech Seed to get some damage back, some health back, and I will, if you do not kill Ferrothorn with Fire type, you just don't kill it. Ferrothorn has taken a lot of damage, and he's going to take a lot of health back. So my opponent is most definitely, I'm going to say banded, because knockoff, as you will see here, does a lot of damage. It's 26%. It does like a quarter of my health every time he hits me. So that's bad. So I predicted him to switch out, but he doesn't, because he's going to stay in. So I'm like, you want to stay in? That ain't no problem. That's fine with me. So I knew that this time he was going to switch out. So I think I opted for the Leech Seed again. No, instead I went for the Protect, and yeah, that was a poor play on my part because I knew that he was going to switch out eventually. So I Leech Seed the Shuckle, and ladies and gentlemen, contrary Shuckle can be amazing. He doesn't need attack, he doesn't need speed, he doesn't need anything else but to boost his defenses. And boosting a Shuckle's defenses can be amazing. Shuckle is such a diverse Pokemon, even in every single generation. If you use Shuckle correctly with the right move pool, he can be friggin' amazing. And when I mean friggin' amazing, ladies and gentlemen, Shuckle can be the ultimate defensive Pokemon of Shell Smash, and if you pair it with the right Pokemon in double battles, Power Trick, it can be the ultimate offensive Pokemon. So there you have it. Shuckle is an amazing Pokemon to use. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the part where the battle lasted 20 turns more than it should have. I go for the Power Whip. I just don't kill him yet. I'm almost at full health. My opponent goes for another Shell Smash. And look how unlucky I get. Okay, he lives with 2%. The turn I decide to go for a Power Whip to finish him off is the turn I miss. And that is the turn where my opponent decides to go for the Chesto Rest. He is back at full health, and he's at maximum defense and special defense, so there's nothing I can do. But there's nothing he can do to me either, because I can do this all day. I can sit in and stall him out. So since the Shuckle has Leech Seed, I decided to send in my Tapu Fini to clean the game for me. And man, this Pokemon is such a great Pokemon. It's not very effective. Infestation is going to do 0 damage, literally 0 damage to me. And you'll soon see why Tapu Fini is amazing. I do use Nature's Madness because it's like a free, Super Fang that is not immune to ghosts, for ghosts. So the Misty Terrain helps me with immunity and status and all that stuff, and that is why I like Tapu Fini more than I like Tapu Lele, because Tapu Lele screws out priority moves, but I prefer Tapu Fini because status moves, I believe, are more important. I think priority is more important in VGC battles. Now, I'm going to set up some special, some calm lines over here, because my Tapu Fini is invested both in physical and special defense and HP. I have no attack, special attack investment. So I'm at +3 right now, and Venusaur is going to go for a Giga Drain. Why not go for a, I don't know, maybe a poison type move, which is more effective. And I'm going to go for the Moonblast to see how much I can do. A critical hit does 45%, and I think that crit mattered because my opponent doesn't get the poison, which is very lucky there, and on my end, because I could have done a lot more. So I go for the Moonblast, take out the Venusaur, which is fantastic. I take out a Mega Venusaur with a Tapu Fini, which resists both of my stabs, Water and Fairy. And Tapu Fini, even without its terrain, when it's set up, is fan-friggin-tastic. Now Ferrothorn cannot do anything to me unless he goes for Leech Seed, because Leech Seed can be annoying. But let's not forget that this is a burn Ferrothorn that misses Power Whip. And it's my miss for his, so I guess we're kind of even there. So I'm going to go for another Nature's Madness because that's his HP at half, and I've halved Ferrothorn with a burn with no. Look how little that Power Whip does, man. It's fantastic. Tapu Fini is so bulky. I'm so glad that I invested it the way I did. So right now I can go for a Moonblast. I know I can kill it at this range, and Ferrothorn is out of the way. Phew, that Ferrothorn is out, and if a mirror match, when you have both the same Pokemon, which is very vital to both teams. If the Pokemon that is, vital to both teams, the same Pokemon, the one that dies first practically tips the scale into the opponent's favor. Speaking of which, my favor. So my opponent has Landorus. He's going to go for a knockoff, and he doesn't go for an Earthquake. He locks himself in. Stealth Rocks are up, so he can't switch out. So Landorus was doomed to fail anyway. I would have gone for the Earthquake on Tapu Fini because, with the exception of Latios and Rotom, maybe that's why he didn't go for the Earthquake, because he might have predicted my Levitate ability, I don't know. But then comes Heatran, and there's not much he can do. He goes for the Ancient Power, predicting maybe to switch out into my Mega Beedrill, or maybe Beedrill. I don't know why he went for the Ancient Power. He said maybe to get some stat boosts. I'm like, man, that is so random. A Fire-type move would have done a lot of damage to either of my Pokemon because Heatran is no pushover. So he is, I believe, locked into a choice move. Maybe a Scarf, that's what I think, that's what I believe. And then comes Shuckle, that is at a very low amount of HP and cannot take the Stealth Rocks. Shuckle was going to die either way because Ferrothorn exists, and Ferrothorn is friggin' amazing, and Heatran dies at 1 HP, so I decide to give the honorary kill to my Rotom because Rotom didn't do too much this battle. Rotom can resist Heatran's stabs. He misses the Fire Blast, not that it really mattered because even with a crit, I can resist it. I am specially invested, and I decide to end the game. My opponent is definitely Choice Scarfed, and I decide to end the game with a Volt Switch, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is today's first OU battle. And the guy was also very polite, unlike a lot of people that are very jerk-like on Showdown. And, Mega Beedrill fell to UU, so did Buzzwole, so did Circuitry, so did Alolan Muck, and people have been jerkbags and have been, spamming them all around. And Mega Beedrill, according to me, does not belong to UU. He's too OP for UU, and he monopolizes pretty much every single battle. But that, ladies and gentlemen, won't matter because I'm going to be doing OU battles, and I want to use Mega Beedrill. I want to see its potential. I want to be able to use it, and so that is the game for me. So I hope you guys enjoyed this battle. I will be posting some more OU battles in the future. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next battle. Goodbye.